Olivia Newton-John wasn't just a pop icon. She was a hopeless romantic, caught in a whirlwind of betrayal, abandonment, and lost love. One fiancé was still married. Another lover literally disappeared. After decades of giving her heart away, did she finally find peace in the end? And how much heartbreak can one woman survive before love stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling like punishment? This is the crazy love story Olivia never got to sing about. When 12-year-old Olivia met Daryl Braithwaite at Christchurch Grammar, it began like many teenage crush stories. He was popular and drew girls' eyes all over the school, while she was shy and could barely stare at him. Before him, the only thing she ever liked as much was animals. In fact, to express her love for animals, Olivia wanted to be a veterinarian, but science classes didn't intrigue her as much as lyrics did. Olivia was musically gifted in that kind of way that you can't hide. Music was the best way for her to express herself. Whether it was through writing lyrics or doing the actual singing, Olivia always lit up like a star when she sang. So when she needed to express her feelings to Daryl, she passed him poetic love notes. But to Daryl, they were both just kids. He just felt that she had a way of making people feel safe. That's who Olivia was. Innocent, sweet, open-hearted. And in those early years, it worked for her. The people around her admired her, and her teachers encouraged her to enter singing competitions. At 14, she formed an all-girl group called Soul 4. They sang harmonies, covered pop tunes, and performed on small TV shows like Time for Terry and The Go. Olivia Newton-John's charm was becoming more obvious, but so was her pattern. She kept falling too hard or fast for the wrong kind of men. That pattern didn't just appear out of nowhere. It had roots, and one of those roots was the collapse of her family. Her parents' divorce wasn't publicized, and Olivia didn't speak much about it. But behind that silence was a girl uprooted first by her parents' split, then by a move across the world. With her father staying behind in England and her mother returning with her to Australia, Olivia became familiar with abandonment before she even had a chance to understand commitment. This emotional displacement may explain why, at just 15, she latched on to Ian Turpie, an older man, a TV host, someone who looked like stability, but offered everything but that. At first, it was merely a collaboration for the Time for Terry and The Go show, until they met again on the musical Funny Things Happen Down Under set, this time as co-stars. As they spent long days filming, Olivia blossomed. She wasn't the shy choir girl anymore. Ian noticed, and soon their relationship turned romantic. For him, it was an exciting connection with a gifted newcomer, but for Olivia, it was far more intoxicating. This wasn't a Daryl type of crush, it was real passion. But there was a huge problem that forced them to date secretly. Ian was not just 6 years older than Olivia, but she was still a child. She was a 15-year-old girl whose dreams were only starting to unfold. Yet she was already in a romantic situation with a much older man. This raised alarms in the public, especially for Olivia's mother, Irene. To Irene, it was dangerous for Olivia to be involved with a 21-year-old man in the entertainment world. Maybe she was right, but try telling a girl in love. The Sing 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 talent contest came a few months later. Olivia entered the TV talent competition in 1965 and won it gracefully, winning the prize of a free trip to London. It was like a dream come true for Irene, as this was a permanent solution to her daughter's secret relationship. But Olivia didn't celebrate. She didn't want to leave. She kept stalling until her mom grabbed her by the hair and insisted they had to move. In 1966, Olivia and her mom moved to the UK. Still, she didn't give up on her love and tried several times to book flights back to Australia, but her mom canceled every single one. Ian publicly said later that Olivia had bowled him over with her talent, and he pined for her even after she left. They even agreed not to date anyone else until they'd been apart for 3 months. Olivia stayed in England far longer. Perhaps that was why Olivia tried so hard to return, but it didn't matter because by the time she visited in person again, Turpie had moved on and married in 1968. After the Ian Turpie situation ended, Olivia did what many heartbroken girls do. She threw herself into work. She got serious about music and started performing more. But someone new stepped into the picture when the wounds began closing. This time, things could work out better, or so she thought. Now, Bruce Welch wasn't just anybody. He was already a big-deal guitarist with the Shadows, who used to back Cliff Richard. He was 7 years older and already had a name in the industry. But that wasn't all. Bruce was also married when he and Olivia started getting close. At first, it was professional. He was helping her with music, producing her stuff, and guiding her career. But then the lines started to blur. And for Olivia, who was still so young and a bit emotionally raw from her last relationship, this felt like safety. Soon, they were in love. Or at least something that looked like it. By the time Olivia was 21, Bruce proposed. Finally, it seemed like she was settling down. But as years passed, it began to look like Bruce wasn't ready. First, he was still legally married. Second, there were no real wedding plans. Bruce was also managing her career. So when Olivia started feeling smothered, like she couldn't breathe creatively without his say-so, it wasn't just personal, but also professional. When she tried to walk away, she wasn't just ending a love story, she was breaking out of the arms of the man controlling her studio mic too. He didn't take it well. Bruce later admitted that her leaving pushed him to the edge, nearly to suicide. In the end, it was clear Olivia had once again given more than she received. After Bruce, you'd think Olivia would take a break and focus on herself. And in a way, she did. She buried herself in work. New songs, new image, new momentum. It was the kind of distraction only a woman with a broken heart chooses. Full-blown reinvention. She wasn't chasing love anymore, at least not obviously. But then came Lee Kramer, and if Bruce left her shaken, then Lee left her spinning. At first, Lee made her feel powerful. He helped shape her edgier image. He was behind her move into sexier visuals like the leather-clad Sandy at the end of Grease, and the controversial physical music video later. But his ambition wasn't just about her, it was also about him. People around Olivia said he was controlling, because he always inserted himself into every decision. He usually spoke for her, instead of letting her speak for herself. She didn't like conflict, maybe because of her parents' fight and eventual divorce, but that made it easy for someone like Lee to dominate things. They were never married, but it was messy and blurred for years. Even after they broke up, he lingered in her orbit. Some say he pushed her to become a businesswoman. Others say he just manipulated her until she couldn't tell the difference between love and career anymore. Matt Lattanzi showed up when it felt like Olivia might be done with power struggles and love and men who didn't know how to love her right. She met him on the Xanadu set. He was a dancer, 11 years younger and still in his early 20s. No scandals, no baggage, just a quiet guy with soft eyes and a surfer's ease. And maybe that's what Olivia needed. Someone who didn't remind her of her father. Someone who didn't manage her career or love her halfway out the door. They started dating, slowly at first, and for once, she was the powerful one in the relationship. They married in 1984, and a year later, she gave birth to Chloe. They even moved to Australia to escape the noise, and for a minute there, it looked like Olivia had finally figured it out. Sadly, in 1992, Olivia was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it shook everything in her life. Olivia needed a partner to fight alongside her. But shockingly, that was when Matt pulled back emotionally and then physically. Maybe because he didn't know how to fix it, or because Olivia taking the lead had made him too comfortable. But slowly, the couple drifted, and by 1995, when they eventually divorced, there was already a huge distance between them. After years of chasing love that seemed just out of reach, the next man to walk into her life would bring peace and a stilling comfort. Patrick McDermott made her laugh, calmed her, and listened. They dated on and off for about 9 years, and even when things felt fragile, she kept circling back. And unlike Matt, he won't abruptly distance himself from her. Instead, he let her get used to it. But that's the part that's hard to ignore. It was never quite right. Patrick had a pattern of pulling away. He'd grow distant, retreat without warning. And Olivia, true to who she was, kept making room for him to return. It wasn't healthy, but it was familiar. She'd learned to be patient with love. She believed that, with time, people came around. And then one day, Patrick didn't come back. One moment, he was supposed to be on a fishing trip off the coast of San Pedro. And the next, nothing. He simply vanished, and the boat came back without him. At first, everyone thought it was an accident.
perhaps a tragic drowning. Olivia was heartbroken. For days, then weeks, she waited for news. She organized a search, praying and grieving. But more than anything, searching for answers. The truth is, the situation only got stranger. Investigators couldn't confirm he'd ever actually drowned. Some reports said he had financial troubles. Others suggested he might have staged the whole thing. In the following years, Olivia would learn that he was possibly spotted in Mexico, living secretly under a different name. Imagine, after all the years of trying to love someone into healing, he just disappeared without closure or explanation. And despite everything, Olivia never publicly spoke harshly about him. Instead, in an interview, she said, "Yeah, it was very hard. He was lost at sea, and nobody really knows what happened."
By the time John Easterling came along, Olivia wasn't chasing love. She wasn't chasing anything. She had already been through enough loss to know that real peace comes silently, like someone knocking at the door when you're not expecting company. They'd known each other as friends for years, but he wasn't from her world. John was a botanist and the founder of Amazon Herb Company. He spoke more about healing than headlines, and for Olivia, who was battling cancer and grief and trying to protect her daughter from it all, that mattered more than any kind of charm. They soon got close, maybe because they started from friendship, or perhaps because they were older and did not pretend to be perfect anymore. But it worked. They married twice in 2008, at first in a private Incan ceremony in Peru, and again a month later on a Florida beach to make it legal. For once, love didn't take more than it gave. With John, Olivia finally found someone who saw all her cracks and didn't flinch. He didn't want her to perform or prove anything. He just loved her, cared for her, and walked beside her through the toughest part of her life, that is, her final battle with cancer. When she passed, it was John who broke the news. His final tribute to her said, "Our love for each other transcends our understanding. Every day we expressed our gratitude for this love that could be so deep, so real, so natural. We never had to work on it. We were in awe of this great mystery and accepted the experience of our love as past, present, and forever." John was the man who finally loved her in the private way she always seemed to need. Even though it almost took a lifetime, Olivia did get her fairy tale in the end.
If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll enjoy the one on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one.